we're just going to have a deeper understanding of the concept of setting goals. As I mentioned, your brain likes to reduce and remove uncertainty. So when you help a client set a goal, you've got to make sure that they set the goal correctly. At the end of the day, the goal has to make it up through all three checkpoints. So if you recall on page 67, you don't have to turn back to it. There was a diagram of a love heart going up a road to Yes Town. And then there were these three checkpoints: limiting beliefs, entrapped emotions, conflicted values, the instincts, the imagination, the intelligence. When we set a goal, we've got to make sure that it does go up these layers correctly. Now, this image you see on the screen here is actually just a different diagrammatical version of what I've now placed on the screen. What I've placed on the screen is a brain that's a cross-section of a brain, and it's split into three pieces. There is the piece at the base of the brainstem, there is a piece in the middle of the brain, and then there's a piece at the top of the brain. So it's like three different images, all of the same brain, except the image on the left has the hindbrain down the base of the brainstem colored in. The image in the middle has the midsection of the brain colored in, and then the image on the right has the top section of the brain colored in. So when you're setting a goal, you have to make sure that the goal A makes it past this checkpoint, which is the reptilian complex, as identified by Paul D. MacLean. It's then got to make it through the middle part of the brain, known as the paleomammalian complex, and then it has to make sure that it lights up the top part of the brain, the neomammalian complex. Now, you would have read about all of these when we asked you to read about the triune brain complex on day one. But when you're setting a goal, typically speaking, you want to make sure the goal lights up all of the parts of the brain. And as long as it lights up all of the parts of the brain, we're in a good position. However, in order for us to, first of all, get the goal through the base of the brainstem, we have to pay attention to the triggers that cause the base of the brainstem to delete the goal while you're asleep at night. So if you set a goal and it has one of these 7 triggers in it, your brain goes in there and deletes it while you're sleeping. And obviously you don't want that. So in order for us to understand these triggers, on page 84, we've got them mapped out for you. So this is what the hindbrain is detecting for survival purposes. I'll put them up on the screen here for you. So the first one is fear, if you want to fill that in. So fear. It's asking the question, this goal, this thing that you're looking for, is there any fear associated with it? The second one, doubt. Is there anything I need to doubt about this goal? The third one, danger. Is it physically dangerous to do this goal? Is there something suspicious? So the fourth one is suspicion. Is there something suspicious about this goal? The fifth one, boredom. Does this goal sound boring? The sixth one, uncertainty. Obviously, we've spent a lot of time on uncertainty today, but now you realize if the goal is uncertain, then basically the hindbrain's going to attack that goal. And then the last one is complication. Does the goal sound too complicated? So we have to observe fear, doubt, danger, suspicion, boredom, complication, uncertainty when we're setting our goals with our clients. Because if there is any fear, doubt, danger, suspicion, boredom, uncertainty, or complication in the goal, then it's a little bit more difficult to get that goal into that home of voluntary action. So just remember, we discussed this core concept that if you want to take voluntary action, you've got to get your goal to make it to the front of your forehead. It's got to travel up the base of your brainstem and move through. And if there is any of those triggers there, once they get triggered, the hindbrain says this is a threat, we get rid of it. We lock up the body, we don't let the body move, no voluntary action, only reaction, and therefore we can't progress. Now, question, do people achieve goals that have fear, doubt, danger, suspicion, boredom, complication, and uncertainty in them? The answer is yes, they do all day long. So people are always achieving goals with those things in them. So then how come people are going to achieve goals even though there's fear in them and doubt and so on? Well, that's because of something known as shadow values and values, which we're going to learn about over the next couple of days. But to make it easier for people, you may as well get rid of that in the goal setting process. So you can still achieve goals, even if you fire off these triggers. It's just easier if you don't fire the triggers off in the actual writing of the goal.